Hi guys, welcome to another video from Heel and Toe blog. This is Stefan and this is his 500 horsepower M135i. But before we get into it, let me just remind you that we have merchandise available in the shop. This is the hoodie, this is the sweatshirt, we have a few other articles. Link is down below and I'd appreciate if you check it out. And a couple of you have been asking what equipment and what cameras I've been using. The links for that are also down below, so if you're interested, take a look. Anyways, let's get into the video. So this is your M135i, which you bought last year.
Exactly.
It already was a modified car.
Yep.
Then what happened?
Well, I initially bought this car because the way it stood there for the price, it was just unbeatable. It was already a bit of a Clubsport spec and exactly kind of wanted. And then must have been 5 weeks after I had bought it and started using it, the turbo just absolutely blew itself up on the highway, flames spitting out, full package.
Which is unfortunately a known thing on the N55.
Exactly, yeah.
The B58, which is the M140i, is much more durable, especially to power modifications, because this car did have upgraded power when you bought it.
Exactly.
There was a lot of changes done to the cooling system to take care of these potential engine problems.
Well, cooling was a big issue before the previous owner had tackled them. In order to prevent the typical cooling issues, he put in a upgraded water cooler and additional water cooler. He put in a upgraded intercooler to cool the incoming air to the turbo, and I mean the thing runs great in terms of temperature. Had no previous issues either.
How much power was it running when you bought it?
It was running the off-the-shelf MHD Tune Stage 2 Plus, which is about 400 horsepower.
Wow. So that's already a lot. Up from 326 horsepower. So actually not much of a power gain. A lot of cooling upgrades to make sure the car is fine. I think you even had a different thermostat. And you can see the car actually already has a pretty nice stance. What suspension is in the car?
So it currently has a street suspension from Vogtland.
Looks very nice. Then we have the OZ ultraleggera wheels.
Exactly.
Okay, very nice. What setup? What tire setup is around?
235s in front, 255s in the rear.
Okay, then it's obviously a three-door car, so the F21. It looks very nice. Estoril blue, some black accents. The roof is black, mirrors are black. Front has been painted black a bit. The diffuser is black, so that looks very nice. Brakes are stock or?
Well, the calipers itself are stock. I mean, BMW made a great system there. However, it has endless pads, endless 72 plus in the front. It has EBC red stuff in the back. Then it has a two-piece Brembo discs all round, and it has steel braided brake lines. Right, and obviously the fluid's been upgraded to take care of that.
So that's pretty much a good setup for not ultimately going straight to the racetrack and being a track tool, but this is more a club sport thing. Drive fast on the track if you want to, on the street, on the autobahn, and you can take it to track occasionally, but it's not a hardcore.
This thing is my daily in the end of the day, and I am a spirited driver. I like going on track days, so this is the best compromise of both worlds.
I think honestly, and I think this is why a lot of people posted a lot of questions on Instagram about this car. I think it's a very attractive car for many people because the depreciation has been insane, but the bang for buck already out of the shelf is incredible.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think this car has a lot of upgrades, which I would see as the car would need, you know, with the suspension and some other things in the car. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into this car. And I've driven the car before it had its engine blow up. And the reason why this is so much more exciting now is because once the engine was damaged, Stefan brought the car up to Marcel, to AMT Motorsport, who some of you may know because he is the one who's doing my S54 on the E46 M3. So you brought the car to Marcel, he inspected the damage. What was the damage?
Damage was basically a fully blown turbo. Some components of the turbo had failed, which caused oil to basically run through the whole exhaust system as well. So the cap was full of oil, the whole exhaust was full of oil.
I think you had a fire in the back of the car.
I had a fire as well, yeah.
So tell us, what was damaged on the back? You can still see some of the burn marks on the exhaust.
Right, so a bit of background. I was cruising on the autobahn, cruising with a bit of speed, and then all of a sudden I had complete power loss. Looked in the back and there was a plume of smoke coming out. So I immediately stopped the car, and one mistake that I did make is out of the whole anxiousness of the situation, I didn't turn the engine off, because as soon as I stopped, I saw the flames run to about, it must have been up here, pure flames.
You were just scared and got out.
Yeah, the cabin started filling up with smoke. I was just in utter shock and scared and jumped out of the car. So the car must have been running for another, I assume, 30 seconds in which the flames continued to strive. So yeah, the rear bumper was completely messed up. both of the rear lights had to be exchanged. Luckily, the boot didn't take any damage. It was a bit of a set build.
Luckily, the whole car didn't burn down. And
luckily, the whole car, the engine shut itself off. But even Marcel said there was about 2.5 liters of oil left. So this thing had burned through a lot of oil.
I think you're very lucky that the block and the head that didn't get destroyed.
Yes. Yeah.
It didn't run on no oil for too long or at high speed, so the crankshaft is okay. I guess you changed the rod bearings.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then let's take a look at the interior of the car because I think it's very nice.
Yeah.
All right, so immediately what I love about this car, it is pretty much stock. We have a Recaro pole position seat, which is a perfect Clubsport seat. We have an upgraded steering wheel. We have the M Performance short shifter. What display is this?
It's AK Motion.
AK Motion display. And probably the most special part about the interior is this right here. This is, the previous owner did this. It is the tachometer from a M2 and fully functioning. So it goes until 300 and that is very, very nice. So very sleek. And the car will actually do the 300, but we'll get to that later. Let's go to the back. All right, now here we have the back of the car. A nice little strut. This really symbolizes how much of a Clubsport it is. So you have a bit of stiffening on the back, but you still have all the carpeting, all the boots. Theoretically, someone could sit in the back. So.
And what I really like about this part is that it's a complete easy install, and also taking it off is super easy. It's bolt on. Yeah. So in case I really need to put the seats down, I need the space, take 4 bolts out, take it out, and you have all the practicability of the stock car.
Yeah. Very nice. So far I'm liking it very much, especially visually speaking. This is exactly my thing, and best of all, it's a manual car. I think many M135s have the 8-speed ZF gearbox, which is great.
They are quicker, the quick shifts, but it's less engaging, and I mean, you know what we stand for.
Exactly. Alright, let's take a look at the engine bay. Sure. I mean, the simple facts are we have a 3-liter straight 6 turbocharged engine. Here you can see the thermostat, which is from Musselman.
That's a Musselman thermostat.
Okay, very nice. So which turbocharger is in here now?
So this is the model is LM550 from P&P Lara Manufaktur. That's the company.
They provided it.
They provided it, and Marcel said that this turbo is easily capable of providing about 550 horsepower. However, then other components, also the fuel system, need to be changed. Exactly.
And the internals on the engine are stock, right?
Internals are completely stock, so this is basically almost a full bolt-on set. Which is fine for the power it's pushing. Once you get about 550, 600 horsepower range, you should think about the internals, however.
Okay, so 500 is a safe mark. And with the MHD tune, you can always change the tunes.
Right. Exactly. So MHD provides a couple off-the-shelf tunes for this car, which you can flash on easily, ranging anywhere between the stock to up to 400 horsepower. However, Marcel worked together with True Power to make a custom tune, specially dialed in for this turbo and this setup.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, I think that is pretty much the gist of it. What exhaust are you running on the car?
This is a Rimos exhaust.
With which cat?
With the HJS cat.
Okay, sounds pretty common. So I would say let's get in and let's go for a drive.
All right.
Sweet. Carpeting is there. It's not an intense tractor where anything is ripped out. It feels like a stock car. There you go. What has actually been done to the suspension? I mean, it's to the general geometry of the car. It's not just the suspension you changed. You also changed some bearings, didn't you?
Right. So all around there's polyurethane bearings, and so the bushing of the strut towers have been changed, and just generally the whole feel of the car is a lot stiffer to what it was.
Does it have camber plates on the front?
Camber plates? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the rear axle also polyurethane bearings,
right? Or? Exactly. And I believe that is actually from the M2.
Okay. You know what? We have some twisty roads ahead of us, so let's get to the facts later and just see what it feels like.
fun. It'll do exactly what you want. It is a bit twitchy on the rear end, I must say.
Sound. It's that typical M135 sound, which you have to say it is augmented through the speakers.
Yeah.
When you turn it off, there's not much sound, but it still is very nice. Jesus Christ!
So it does move. It does move.
What the f? My stomach just turned upside down.
What do you mean? It just gives, every time I put the foot down, it just gives me such a grin to my face.
That's incredible. Wow. This thing pulls. Okay, I'm looking forward to doing some Autobahn pulls later. I mean, this is a car for corners, but... And the rear does want to go out, doesn't it?
It does, it does. So you kind of have to know when you're doing a bit.
Oh, I'm not a good passenger, I'll tell you that much. Oh. Bloody hell. Traction is obviously off. Oh my god.
So yeah, the rear end is playful. Playful to say the least.
That's fantastic.
But that's kind of how I like it, right? So
Yeah.
if you know what you're doing, you know what inputs actually do to the car, then you can have a lot of fun and joy. If you want to drive it clean, you can drive it clean. If you want to get the rear end to step out, you definitely can as well.
And you can daily it. This is a perfectly dailyable
Right,
car.
like if I put this thing in 6th gear, just start cruising around, it's fine. No excessive noise, no uncomfortable bumps. Fully manageable. However, if we shift it down,
this is the definition of a pocket rocket. It's a manual, it's rear wheel drive. And what I can tell from the passenger seat, the car communicates very well what is about to happen. It may happen quick, but it still lets you know. It doesn't surprise you.
Yep.
Yeah, this is how you know you have a very powerful car when you're doing 100 and you're coming out of a corner and you can feel the rear. Oh, that's a nice little pop, right?
And yeah, exactly. And those little power slides where you're just coming out of a corner and unprovoked, literally unprovoked.
It's not like you're trucking it in.
No, and you're really trying to control it, but just that little, it's kind of like the car saying like, hey, I got the power.
Fuck me, Jesus Lord Christ, with this car. Okay, so it's been a long time since I've driven the M135, and I've only actually ever driven mostly stock M135s. I once drove Joe Achilles, where I did potentially damage it because it was a right-hand drive car.
I was there as well.
But anyways, let's forget about that. I love this driving position. Everything is where it should be. We have a very nice low seating position because of the pole position. Steering wheel is nice, pedals are nice. Like we're driving through town right now, and with the upgraded turbo and 500 horsepower, it is still completely usable. If I wouldn't know, I would say it's a stock car or a stock engine. Only once you hear the turbo spool up, it sounds different. It has a much more intense and louder spool. And I'm pretty sure that the sound of the engine or of the exhaust note has changed a little bit through that as well.
It's gotten a bit more throaty, a bit deeper, a bit more growl to it, which I personally quite like.
Okay, that was half throttle. Oh, that's great.
And that's how you know you bought the right car, is when you do that, and you just have a huge grin on your face.
Not that much wheel spin though.
Oh, it's quite planted also in acceleration.
Jesus, once this
Peak power is just below 6k RPM now.
once the turbo builds up, you feel it. car, it's very mind-boggling because I know the M135 and I know the 1 Series well. I once got to drive a 169 for quite a long time, and this is just not what I expect from this environment somehow. That it only does it sometimes.
Sometimes it's very rewarding.
Yeah, so as we were just discussing, sometimes when you shift quick and you step on the power again, there's a bit of a delay until it gets its full boost or full power again. And according to myself, this is due to the electronic wastegate, so it just takes some time to open back up.
Exactly.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Lets you shift slow and make sure everything's okay, if you know what I mean.
I do that as well. I don't really quick shift when I'm on the Autobahn.
No. Do you put it in sport on the Autobahn or sport? Comfort.
Usually just even comfort, yeah.
Alright, so 6th gear. I don't think we need 5th gear. I'm doing 190 right now. Suddenly without checking their mirrors. Very nice and consistent pull though. Very, very planted on the Autobahn as well. It doesn't squirm around or anything. So let's give it a try. 160. But you just have a lot of left lane hoggers, which is always the problem. Times. A few people asked that. Should we time it? That's a big advantage to this display. You can do timings, and one of them is 100 to 200.
Oh, it seems that we have got it.
So let's give it a go. Yep. 8.44 seconds. So that wasn't ideal because we had a bit of a bump in the road. We were changing lanes. What did Marcel manage?
So Marcel told me he managed to get around, I believe it was a 7.6, 7.7.
Alright, so much to that. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. If you did, it helps us a lot. And especially thank you, Stefan, for taking the time and handing me the keys and letting me slay some tires a little bit.
I'm glad you got to experience it.
If we get a free bit of Autobahn, let's see